Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 553. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I am Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It's November the 16th,
I can't believe it's the 16th already.
My older sister turned 45 yesterday.
Wow.
And also ended up spending $5,000 on her dog.
Oh no.
Had a herniated disc. I guess it's
yeah.
It's a little one. It's a Chihuahua mix of something.
Oof.
And yeah, so that's how she celebrated her 45th birthday.
That's very exciting.
Laura and I both use the she pronoun.
She, her, yeah.
And apparently we're never going to stop podcasting because this is the 553rd one that we've done. So
we've been doing this for 12 years?
Almost 12.
Yeah, it'll be 12 in April.
Mm-hmm.
I found... I was going through Facebook, which I never do, but I was like, I'm going to scroll back to where I first joined Facebook, and I found a post that Leslie made saying, we're thinking about doing a podcast, and maybe 5 of you will watch it.
Yeah.
It was very funny. It's like, on this day, 12 years ago, I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Back when we used to Facebook, which we don't at all anymore.
No.
We're not active on Facebook at all. I got on there because I was linked in something.
Your
probably
use
by
Facebook
my father.
a lot.
They do. Mm-hmm.
Because
they use Facebook more than Instagram.
They're my friends on Facebook.
And you get like
so
emails.
I get notifications when your dad posts a picture or any of that stuff. So
that's very funny.
It's sweet,
It's
the way that I can sort of keep up with them.
Yeah, because or Twitter. Twitter's good for keeping up with my father as well. Yeah. He does do the Twitter. He likes tweeting at his representatives in state government.
I feel like that's a good, quote, unquote, no offense intended, old person way of, screaming, get off my lawn, but, at your representatives. And I fully endorse it. Do it. You've got the power to talk to them, so do it.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, so now that we're done with our social media update of the week, would you like me to go first, or would you like to go first?
Totally up to you. I'm going around and around, so.
I am too. So I am still working on Beachcomb by TheKnitGirlls. I did finish the spinning for it. I finished that on Saturday. I'm planning on plying that sometime soon. I would like to ply it maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll do. No, I'm not going to do it tonight. I don't. Why I said that. I will do it tomorrow.
Anytime we record, anytime Laura says, maybe I'll do that later, never going to happen.
No. I'm going to go home and go to bed and play Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
In my bed. That is probably going to be the plan. Although tonight is the Pittsburgh Penguins Pride game.
Oh. You sent a picture of those jerseys.
Yes. So their warm-up jerseys are these gorgeous rainbow numbered jerseys, and I was talking to my dad about it, and I was like, and he said, man, if I was going to bid on a jersey, because they donate the proceeds to charity, he's like, that would be the jersey that I would bid on. And I was like, me too, friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious how much the not famous player ones go for.
Mm-hmm.
Not Sidney Crosby, who's the main. I know you don't do hockey, but he's
you just
the
go
main.
On and say names.
Main person,
I would never be able. You could be like Mr. Jablinski, and I'd be like, yep, he's good.
But some of the lesser known players, I'm curious as to how much they're going for. But I know if I look, then I'm gonna want to bid, and I don't want to bid.
And you will be outbid.
I do not have money to spend on a Penguins jersey, but if I did, I would get the Pride jersey. So anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, yeah, so I need to ply, and I'll do that eventually, but probably not tonight. I'll probably watch the game tomorrow on ESPN Plus and ply at that time. I plied the other day, and I never wound it off the bobbin. So I have some CVM that I plied the other day that's still on the bobbin.
Can you ply on top of it? Is there enough space for you to ply your other thing on top?
Yeah, and I have multiple bobbins.
Just ply on top.
I'll probably wind off and give it a good wash. And then have something to show next week, hopefully.
That's true.
So, Beachcomb by TheKnitGirlls, sweater I'm working on out of handspun. It's going to get done. I'd like to get it done by Saturday because Jillian Marino has her Zoom on Saturday and I'd love to show it off, but we'll see. I have started a pair of plain top-down socks, which will have a heel flap.
I was going to say, top down. These must not be for you.
They are not. They are for someone for Christmas. They are out of Mustache Yarns in the Hawaii Volcanoes colorway. I bet you can guess who they're for.
I know who they're for.
So my parents recently went to Hawaii. It was their 50th state that they had to, like, it was the last state that they had not been to. So
I have a question on that. Did they count only states they've been to together?
No, it's separate, but I think they've been to all of them together too. That's a good question. We should ask them.
I just wondered, like, because, surely at some point when before they met, they traveled, even like nearby states.
Have we discussed how Weezy was a hitchhiker in
Yes.
the 70s? Okay. So my father used to hitchhike in the 70s and would hitchhike from Buffalo to Florida and back up. So I'm sure he went to Florida before my mom went to Florida. I don't know that she ever visited him in Florida. Who knows?
I'm just imagining being that person who's like, oh man, look at this guy on the side of the road. I'm going to be nice and give him a ride. And then, like, just jabber, just, like, never stops. Like, super nice, very interesting, but quiet isn't something that he embraces.
We need, like, a Wheezy to write a memoir, though. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Some interesting stories there. He climbed a TV tower when he was a young child and got brought home by the police. Like, there are some Wheezy stories.
Like, in protest or just because?
Oh, just because it was there.
Cool.
So there are some Wheezy stories for sure. Anyway, so I am knitting these socks on size 0 needles. They'll be topped down with a heel flap. Other things that I have started, I also started a Big Mountain Hat by Faye Kennington. I am using Miss Babs K2 for this.
Oh, yeah.
So, it uses a total of 3 colors. Oop. There are, I just started the 3rd color. Don't get too excited. So there is there's a ribbing, a colorwork section, and then a top section. In fact, I'll work on that for a little bit. So that is using Miss Babs K2, which is an awesome bulky yarn. You can buy it in, I think it's like 230 or 250 yard put-ups, but she also sells like different, like leftover bits on her website. So, this one, let's see if I have all the tags. I do. All the tags. So the red is not any of those. Hold on. Oh, maybe I didn't throw that one in here. Anyway, so like one of these is 86 yards, one of them is 96, this one was 86. This one was 96, this one was 76. I think this is the one, Into the Void maybe. This was the Saf colorway from a couple of years ago. And then Black Magic and I think Frozen are these two. The grays. Yeah. There's a lot of tags in here, and you will see why in a second.
Yeah.
So I am knitting these right now on size 10.5 needles. The ribbing was done on size 10 needles, and they are just a nice, I think it's only 8 rows of a ferrule, but like 3 of those rows might be just solid knits across, like stripes. So really just 5 rows. So it's a good way of getting your feet wet into ferrule. And it is a quick hat. I think I knit one in around 2 hours.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
2.5 maybe. So it does move fairly quickly.
Spoiler alert, you'll see this pattern again this episode.
Just a few times. So yeah, I still have Nick's hats on the needles as well, but I did not get any work done on that because I became obsessed, hyper-fixated. Let's use that word instead. I became hyper-fixated on doing these hats instead. So I will go back to that cool hat that I was knitting out of the blues for my friend's little boy. Probably this week, because I can only get 4 of these done out of
what you currently have.
What I currently own, and Leslie says I have to knit all 4 before I purchase more.
I suggested that you should.
Little does she realize. But, yeah. So that's happening. That's my main things that that's all I'm working on. But you've been knitting hats as well. It's a very hat-centric podcast this week.
So what I'm working on right now is a hat. And this is out of Malibu Rios. I think this is the Archangel colorway.
That's a dark Archangel.
I don't have the tag anymore.
I don't think it's Archangel. Okay. I think that's more purpley.
Maybe it's not. But I don't know what the color is. It's probably in my Ravelry stash page, though, because it's so old. Like, I've had it for so long.
Yeah.
That it was probably in my Ravelry stash page. So I'm knitting the Quinn Hat.
It's a good pattern.
Which is a woolly worm head pattern. I was knitting it last week as well in a different color. And I'm knitting it so the top isn't as pointy, so the top lays flatter to the head. So I'm knitting this on size 8 needles.
What size hat are you knitting?
So the way it's sized is to fit a 14-inch, 16-inch, 18-inch, 20, 22, 24-inch. I'm knitting the 20-inch.
Okay.
Because that should fit like a small adult head or a large kid head.
Yep, I agree. Something is beeping.
Yeah, I know. It's my computer. I don't know how to make it stop. So, you know what? I can make the audio player thing stop.
Yeah, we probably should have the...
There we go.
That turned off. The speaker's turned off anyway.
Well, those are turned really low.
Gotcha.
But, okay, anyway. So this is how it's knitting up. It's hard to tell what it looks like on the needles, but you'll see a finished one in a little bit. So yeah, it's just a garter hat that pulls down over the ears, and then up at the top it's stockinette rather than garter stitch. So, and it's a really ingenious way of doing the decreases and increases to cover the ears without short rows. It's really brilliant. So
it's a great pattern.
So yeah, I'm enjoying that. And then the other thing was that last week I pulled this out of extreme hibernation. I wonder if I can find the paper. Oh, here it is. Well,
oh, your mittens.
My mittens. So the chart, I had to enlarge it because apparently in the 6 years or whatever since I was working on it last, my eyes got a little worse, so I had to enlarge it. And now I'm at the point where the front side and the back side are different because of this motif.
Oh, gotcha.
So, here we go. And this is out of Jared Flood's Brooklyn Tweed Loft. And these were colors that I originally bought for Ro.
Oh.
And then when she passed, her husband Terry sent it back to me, and I decided I was going to make something out of it. So it's Old World, and I don't remember what the other color is. But so this is the one that's been done, and this is the pattern on the palm. It's meant to be like an anti-possession symbol. It's a fandom thing for the show Supernatural, which I started rewatching and is just as silly and terrible as I remember.
But you've made progress on the second one. Had you even cast on the second one?
Yes, I had cast it on, but I hadn't got very far. Sorry, let me untangle this thing here so I can show you. I'm knitting a gray hair into it, apparently.
Yes.
What the crap is happening? Here we go.
Do you need a hand? Okay.
Alright. So when I picked it back up, I was just at about there, like I had gotten one repeat plus a little bit done. And I was using two size 3 needles. And after about an inch, I realized that my gauge had changed. Shocker, right?
Did it change more loose or more tight?
I've gotten tighter.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a little section of about an inch in here where it's snugger.
It'll block out.
Yeah, I'm not super worried about it. I went up to a 4 needle, and I'm back on track to, like, size-wise to match everything. So, I'm just at the point where this is where the thumb goes.
Okay.
Here, so this is the right one.
A little bit of waist yarn.
Yep, which is waist yarn from the sock machine
that
I pulled off of the edge of a tube. So that's where the thumb will go, and I'm just now starting the star pattern that goes on the palm side. I had forgotten how fragile woolen spun yarn can be.
Yes.
And
when it doesn't have a ton of ply twist, it can be very fragile.
I mean, it's warm, but it can be fragile. And so I was trying to pull out from the center, and because I don't knit with woolen spun, I knit with worsted spun yarns, and it popped. And I was like, oh crap. And then I tried to splice it back together.
Yeah.
But then I realized I had done a row wrong, like 3 rows down, and had to, like, rip it out. And so then I was like, I'll just weave in an extra in. It's fine. It's no big deal.
Gotcha.
Because it was on the, I'll just weave it on the inside.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying working with the yarn. If I have enough left over, I'll make a hat of some kind, because it is very warm.
I have some other colors that you can combine if you need to.
Yeah.
If you run out.
I'm pretty sure they still make this.
Yeah, they do.
The Loft. So, I'm hoping to make some more progress next week. I'm knitting on it while watching Supernatural.
That's amazing.
So meta. And I finally got through the first season, and I'm on the second one now. So, there's 23 episodes per season.
Oh, we said there's 15 seasons?
15 seasons.
There you go.
So, but they do take their shirt off a lot more in the later seasons, so I'm here for that. I'm not gonna lie. So that's it. That's all the stuff that I'm actively working on, and I can't knit on this while we record, because it's just, my brain isn't quite that good.
Well, I do have some finished objects.
No, you don't.
I do.
Never.
I finished the Halloween socks.
I haven't seen these yet.
Yeah, I finished them last Thursday. So I just need to weave in the ends.
I will have books for you before you leave.
Yes, they don't match at all, which is fine. They were totally, like, the yarn did not, anyway. The 2 mini skeins did not match. It's Knit Picks Felici, so I don't really expect it to match. It's Deep Stash. So they are both done. I'll weave in the ends, and I have Halloween socks. And I wear Halloween socks all year round, so they won't go bad for sure. So I'm actually going to move them over there. And then I have 2 hats. So one is blocked, one is not. This one is blocked. It's amazing what blocking can do. And this is Miss Babs K2 in the Big Mountain colorway. So this one, I actually had the gray yarn in my left hand and the green yarn in my right hand when I was doing the color work. But on this one, I did the opposite. Mm-hmm. So you can definitely see the pattern more on one than the other.
So this is a lesson in dominant versus non-dominant hand. If you want the color that you want to disappear is the color you want in your dominant hand.
Yep.
So the gray that fades into the background here was in her dominant hand, but in this one it was the green in her dominant hand. This is assuming that you throw and that you use 2 hands to knit Fair Isle.
Yep. So anyway, those 2 are done, and now I am almost out of the green. I probably have enough that I could do just the like, what's the gray? Portion, the little Fair Isle, because it only uses around 20 yards. And also you can tell how much this yarn grows with the blocking and how much more even the stitches look. So blocking is magic. One of these is Perfectly Reckless, and the other is for the top colors.
Colorway name.
Yep. So I think this one is Perfectly Reckless. And then this one is Bram. Pretty sure. So yeah. All the tags. So when I'm done with my 4th hat, I should have 3, 4, 5, 6 skeins out of the stash, which I'm very happy about. So yeah.
So question.
Boom.
When we first met and you lived in Hernando, you used to keep all of the tags for the yarn that you wound. Do you still do that?
No.
Okay. So I was like, man, I want to see that bin that's just like full of tags.
I threw that out when I moved,
okay.
and now I just throw them out when we're done recording. I try to save them so that I have them when we record.
Yeah.
Especially when we're doing like stuff like this where it's a lot. But no, I totally. I used to save all the ends too, and now I just toss them. So, or use them for stuffing, or everything gets a little bit used in my house. Yeah, so that is everything that I finished. 2 hats and a pair of socks. I'm pretty happy with that.
That's quite a lot.
And maybe, nope, I don't have, I was going to say I might finish this hat by the end of recording, but I don't have double points with me. So I won't. But
I have some
I will probably
10.5 double points.
Oh, gee, right there.
Here that you used a few weeks ago for something else.
And I have smidgens of like the Verget left that I might just do 1 hat that's just like all stripy.
Stripes or something, yeah.
So I think that would be fun too. We'll see how far I get on this. I need to get like 10 more rows done before I can start my decreases.
Okay, well, I have some finished things as well.
Cool.
So, I finished 4 hats because I'm an overachiever.
2 more than what I finished.
Also, they're all for kids, so.
Wow, but still.
So this is Quinn. This is what a finished Quinn hat looks like.
That's pretty. That was the Wool Bearers yarn?
This is the Wool Bearers.
Cool.
Just red. That was the colorway yarn. Wool Bearers is a great shop. It's near Philly, but it's in New Jersey. So I think Cherry Hill is where it is.
I'm pretty sure that's where it is.
Or in a nearby town.
It's a nice little town.
Yeah, it's a very cute little town. So this is Quinn. And again, that's a pattern by Woolly Wormhead. And this
And what
one,
size did you make that one?
The same as the other.
Okay.
So to fit a size 20.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the Daniel hat by Isolde Teague. And I knit this as a small adult, and it's plenty big enough for me.
Well, it's brioche,
but
right?
It's brioche, right? So
it
it's
stretches.
Super stretchy. And this is out of super deep stash yarn. This is out of yarn that I bought probably the year I met Laura. So that would have been
Crystal Palace, right?
Crystal Palace Merino 5 Prince.
Yeah. I might still have some of that in my stash. I'm not gonna lie about it. And it's something on the purple colorway.
The reason I picked it is because I saw it and I could reach it and it was already wound.
They are. I don't even know that yarn company is still in business.
I know this one is discontinued.
Yeah.
I don't know if Crystal Palace itself is still in business, but yeah, this one, nothing super fancy.
It's a multi-ply superwash merino.
Yeah, I will say it's splitty.
Yeah.
Because it's not plied very tightly. And there are like 8 plies in it. It's super splitty, but it's very bouncy, and it's very, very stretchy. So
and very soft.
It'll be nice for a kid, and it's got nice clean decreases at the top. So this one's more of a neutral colorway. Like I said, my friend Alan, he and his kids moved back, and 3 of them are boys. And they're not. Like, they don't fall into the typical boys can only wear, blue or whatever. But, it's a nice neutral option. So that's hat number 2. Hat number 3 is Mountain Mist. This is by Tin Can Knits. And it's, I actually forgot to do a row, and you can see it. I meant to do a solid red row after.
Yeah. But it's still cute.
There's sort of a gap between the peaks here. But it's fine. It's just a simple color work hat. This is Cascade 220. This is Jill Draper. I forget the yellow daffodil, I think. This is the Wool Bearers Red, and this is Malabrigo Rios. This is what I'm also knitting the Quinn hat in. As usual, Tin Can Knits patterns are fantastic.
They are.
and they are usually sized from newborn all the way up to 5 or 6X. Great diagrams, easy instructions. There's usually at least a link to one video that shows you a technique. So we are big fans of the Tin Can Knits ladies.
We are. They're great people too.
And my last one, this one is Heartthrob.
Oh, that is the cutest thing ever.
So this is I messaged Laura this weekend. I want to say it was Saturday morning. And I
or
was
the
like,
weekend before.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the weekend before.
And I was like, there's this pattern that I remember seeing, and it's got heart ear flaps and heart fair isle, but I can't remember who it was. Like, I thought maybe it was Telly Bean Knits, but it wasn't. It ended up being Tanis Labelle. Sorry, I'm saying that wrong.
The Dyer Tanis.
And
super cute.
Yeah, so I did little fair isle hearts, and then the ear flaps are knit separately, and then you attach them later and do little I-cord.
So cute.
And she even talks to you about how to estimate where to put the little ear flaps, because they need to be further towards the back than they do towards the front. So,
oh,
isn't that the cutest thing you've ever seen in your life?
It is super cute. I think you need to make one an adult size for you.
I do, actually, and I might.
You should.
But, yeah,
I feel like you have some red yarn.
I'm positive that I could make that work. And this is, the heart is knit similarly to the Quinn in that it's all accomplished without short rows. It's just decreases and increases, which is helpful because I didn't want to have extra ends to weave in. You know, if I had to like do one side of the heart and then come back and do the other.
I gotcha.
So, yeah, so this is hat number 4. I'm going to knit like probably 6 or 7 hats and then take them all over there and just let them choose what they want. That way they don't get something they don't like. And then whatever they don't like, I will gift to someone else or donate to charity or something, so they won't go to waste. So yeah, those are my 4 finished hats. So between us, we have 6 finished hats this week and a pair of socks.
It's pretty good.
Yep.
I'm pretty happy with that.
And that's my entire craft. Oh no, I got some quilt squares, I think. You have some spinning though, right?
Not with me. I've been working on doing a lot of fiber processing, and so I've been doing that a little bit every day. And you can see my progress with that on my Instagram, actually. I do an Instagram live every weekday, and my username is Lala Knits. So it's been lots of fun today. We've been talking a lot about tools, and I've been processing a lot of cordale. When I have a finished skein, I will bring it and show it to y'all. But I don't.
Processing takes time.
It does. I've been combing a lot, which has been lots of fun. I've been super into that. So
you discovered the wonders of fiber conditioner.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that.
Spritzing a little bit of water that's combined with unicorn fiber rinse to help deal with static as I comb. There's different recipes for like combing milk and stuff like that that have been shared on our Discord. Yep. And there's a lot of discussion about stuff over there, which is always fun. I like Discord a lot. But on my lives, people are welcome to leave comments, and I will get back to you or send me a PM if you have questions as well.
Laura is eminently accessible, and I'm not.
I mean, it depends on what hours you're trying to reach me. But
there are lots of ways to get to you. Whether or not you immediately answer.
That's true.
Is due to like time of day, how much you got going on.
If I'm teaching, I can't answer. Yeah. I'm not supposed to be on my phone, so.
Well, I've got some quilt squares. So these I had done 2.
Cute.
This is for the Axis Pop Art quilt, and it's linked in the show notes. The show notes are on our website, which is www.TheKnitGirlls with 3 L's.com. So I'd already finished these 2, and I finished 2 more. These are exactly identical. All of these are identical. Just the only difference is the patterns.
So what management technique did you end up using?
Right now, I'm each of these squares. So let me grab this piece of paper here. Each of the squares repeats a certain number of times. So For example,
I'm sure it has a list somewhere of like
doesn't.
how many. Oh, it doesn't.
Nope.
Oh.
You just have to go. You just have to count how many you see. There's no list that says, okay, you need 6 of these.
Oh,
and you
I
need
do
2 of
not
those.
like that. Nope.
Usually, a pattern does tell you that.
Okay.
In this case, it doesn't.
I would have to write it down on a post-it note, I think, and attach it.
So, like for this one here, so I went through and counted. So there's 2 of those. So what I do is I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this one. So I'm going to pick out all the stuff I need.
Is that highlighter tape?
For 2, yeah. For 2 of those particular patterns. So I pull everything out of like the different Ziploc bags that I've got the pieces in, and I assemble those 2 blocks while I'm there, so that I don't walk away and have pieces left that I don't know where they go and all that. So because none of these blocks have more than 4, none of them repeat more than 4 times, and most of them repeat only twice, I just grab everything I need for like how many instances of that block I have.
Gotcha.
So the ones I did, I think this weekend, there are 4 of those. And do they look identical to the other ones? They're very close. The only difference is the patterns here.
The cross beams.
So I've got 8 out of 49 squares done.
Nice.
Which I'm happy with.
Yeah, you should be. Mama will love seeing those.
So yeah, and I appreciate everyone who's given feedback on the pressing. Overwhelmingly, the advice is to press to one side, where possible, press to the dark side, and nest your seams.
Interesting.
And because you'll hide it better.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And if you press your seams out, so flat, you're actually weakening that seam, because there's just the thread between those 2 squares. There's no like overlap of anything to hold the pieces together. So unless you do a stitch in the ditch later on top of that to like quilt it to your batting and stuff, it's actually, apparently it makes it weaker. So
interesting. It looks like you also got progress on your tunic over there.
I did, but I haven't. So my Octopus reverse applique, here, I'll grab that too. I'm so ill prepared.
Right. Also, you're stacking stuff on top. Like, that's where she's been putting her knitting stuff.
So, I very carefully spent an hour or so cutting out most of the octopus.
It looks so cute!
So, most of the legs and things are done. There's a little bit of cleanup I need to do around a couple of the, like, very ends of the tentacles to make them cleaner and everything. Yeah. But...
you need itty bitty scissors for that.
The thing that I'm having issues, well, not issues with right now, is I was trying to decide about the head of the octopus, because it's going to sit like right under a boob, which, you know, wasn't great planning, but whatever, it's fine. It's, you know, I'm already a weirdo with an octopus dress, so who cares? And the eyeball is going to be right at nipple level, so
well, we should probably double check that with it on. Or have you done that already?
I haven't, no.
Okay. We should probably double check that with it on.
But I need to spend some time just looking at pictures of octopus, like, heads and eyes. And just see if I can move where the eye could be. Like, if I can change the perspective of how you're looking at the octopus. Which is not something that I'm great at. And in the end, I might just cut out the whole head and not do an eye. That's fine, too. So I'm thinking about it.
You could also do an applique eye at a later date on top of
your
reverse
that's what applique. I was going to do was
okay.
an applique, because the way that an octopus eye looks is there's like this sort of ring of muscle around the eye, then there's the iris that's like the like what your hazel or brown or whatever. Is that iris? No, that's pupil. No, that's iris. Pupil is the black part of your eye. So there's the round, like, sort of ring of muscle, and then there's the iris, and then there's the pupil, which is a flat. It's like a horizontal, like goats, but it's kind of flat.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time looking at octopus eyes this week, so...
I can tell.
Anyway. So yeah, I'm still thinking. I haven't decided how I want to do that yet. And I may wait and get your mom's opinion.
Yeah,
as well.
I would totally do that. And I think she'd be better if you had it on too. Like,
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think perspective might like where it's sitting might change too with it on.
It might.
Since you're 3-dimensional and not 2-dimensional.
No way.
Nope. You're not a flat Stanley.
No way.
Sorry.
What's a flat Stanley?
You're gonna have to Google it.
Okay.
It's like based on a kid's book, and you would send like a postcard with anyway. It's
Okay.
a mailing thing.
Cool. I'll look it up.
There you go.
That's it for me as far as like crafting things. What have you been reading?
I started reading Daughter of the Deep. Speaking of octopi.
Octopus.
It is by Uncle Rick Riordan, whose name I always mispronounce. So that might Riordan or Reardon. I can never remember. Anyway, it's a middle grade / lower YA version of 2,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Okay.
So I haven't
Is it
quite
2,000 or 20,000? I
don't know. It might be 20,000. But I put 2,000 this year.
But that's just me being an asshole.
No, you're
which people
fine.
loved, apparently.
No, you're fine. I think it is 20,000. Anyway, I've not read that book. I have seen the old Disney film, and I'm going to rewatch it on Disney Plus probably this weekend so I get some of the references. But it's not part of like the Percy Jackson series. It's a totally separate thing that he did, and it just came out like last month. So I'm listening to the audiobook and enjoying it so much I wrecked a tire on my car. So it happens. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've also been watching a show on Amazon Prime called Victorian Farm. Have you seen this?
No, I don't think so.
It is 3 people, 2 archaeologists, and 1 person who does another historian of some kind. I think they do like history of crafts and more like home space techniques. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and they decide for a year that they are going to live on this farm, and that's been abandoned for over 50 years. And they can only use Victorian
techniques,
everything.
Yeah.
Like they have to be in Victorian clothes. They can only farm using Victorian technology. And it's interesting because like the first episode, they're talking about how the building of the canals created movement of goods, and that created an economy that was across the entire country versus like every farmer having to have like their own cow, their own,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a farm that did all the goods. This allowed goods to be transported, including coal, and kind of really revolutionized cooking, but also like farming and other aspects of industry. Anyway, it's interesting. I like history.
Yeah.
I like, I don't like the people in it especially, but it's interesting.
Is it like dramatized, or is it like
No,
it's reality?
No, it's just these people trying to do stuff.
Cool.
On a farm.
You might check out, so Michael subscribes to this thing called Curiosity Stream.
Uh-huh.
And it's a collection of documentaries that aren't necessarily produced by the channel Curiosity Stream. Some of them are like, you know, PBS. Some of them are, you know, produced by high name
Mm-hmm.
companies or whatever. Some of them are smaller. But they have a whole section on history, and
cool.
That made me think, because I watched part of one, and then I never went back. I don't remember why, but I watched part of one where a guy bought some land where a castle used to sit. Not a castle necessarily, well, I guess it would have been.
Or a Roman fort or something.
Yeah, like a keep, like
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't for royalty, but it was like...
There is some historical significance to the land of which he purchased.
Right, and so he decided he was going to recreate the building, but only using the methods that were available at the time.
Interesting.
Only using like the mortar and the way that they mixed the mortar and like how they got the stone, and like using only those techniques. It was really interesting, so I must have gotten interrupted and then forgotten to go back to it. But yeah, Curiosity Stream is, if you like documentaries, it's a great, it's like a Roku app or probably Apple TV app, and I think it's only like $20 a year or something.
cool.
It's really reasonable. And they have all sorts of different topics.
I have so much
Yeah, I know. I have
available right now, but maybe at a future date.
Netflix keeps insisting that I need to watch Red Notice. With
I want to watch Red Notice.
Vin Diesel and Ryan Reynolds and...
No, The Rock.
Oh, The Rock. Yeah, not Vin Diesel. I don't know why.
And Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadget. Gadget?
Godot,
whatever her name is. Wonder Woman?
Go Gal Gadget. That's our episode title.
Is she Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen any of the... Is that DC?
I did watch Wonder Woman. It's probably the only like comic movie besides the Ryan Reynolds one that I've watched in the past 10 years. Just because I feel like there's so much backstory you need to really get into the Marvel movies that I just don't. What was the Ryan
Is she
Reynolds
Marvel
one?
or DC?
Deadpool.
She's
I have no
DC,
idea.
I think. Anyway.
No idea.
Ryan Reynolds was also Green Lantern.
Oh.
We watched that at Stacy's house.
Did we?
Yes. A long time ago.
Okay, it must have really left an impression. Yeah, so that's it. Have you been reading anything else, or do I need to talk?
No, that's it for me. That's the two. I've been playing lots of Animal Crossing.
So I started a book called Star Mother by Charlie Holmberg, but I'm only like 10 pages into it. I had started before but never finished Playing with Fire by R.J. Blaine.
Yeah.
The alicorn, unicorn that like eats napalm and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I finished it and thought, okay, well, I'll try the next one, and that's the one with the alpaca.
Uh-huh.
And I'm at sort of an impasse because I really love the way that the author does the theology. Like, she mixes like the angels that she depicts have no heads.
Yep.
And are very like snarky and funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got
there's a lot. I like the way she writes, like, tone wise and word choice. I like that. But I feel like if you don't remember what's going on in that world, there are a lot, like, every character is a continuation of another character. And character tracking is not one of my strong suits.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also it's like a 30-book series at this point.
Yeah, I think it's 20-something books.
Yeah, and then she's got like 4 spin-off series. I actually like her books under the name Susan Copperfield a lot better. Mm. And it could just be that there's not as many.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the way that she mixes all the different theologies and everything, but the dialogue is really hard for me. Okay. Because you'll get just like a chapter of them just like how like with Gilmore Girls, everything's really funny, but it moves so fast you never get a breath.
Yeah.
That's how I feel sometimes when reading those books. Like, there's no time to just like it's just constant. So I don't think I'm going to continue on those.
She's got a librarian series too.
Yeah, I might try one of her other series.
You should try the Susan Copperfields. They're like dystopian, and I enjoy them.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the way the characters interact. Something about like how
I also feel like
unnatural the characters act with each other.
I wish she would just like complete a series and move on to the next series. I think she's got 7 or 8 series going at one time. Wow. And so I
mean, rock on.
Yeah.
Yay for your success.
She is writing a lot.
Yeah.
Like, but it's also, there's so many different series. It's like the one that I really like is her under R.J. Blaine is her Wolf series. And I don't think she's gone back to that. And like one book will come out per series per year.
Yeah.
So like
kind of like the Yolanda Andrews, although theirs is more spaced out than that, really.
They only have one series going at a time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like they did Innkeeper along with...
Well, Innkeeper wasn't under contract. They have one contracted series going on at a time, and then Innkeeper comes out once a year. So they publish around 2 books a year. They're not under contract right now. They finished the 3rd and the Catalina series, and so that was the last contracted thing.
Laura knows a lot about authors because Laura is a librarian and reads a lot.
Well, I get Alana Andrews' blog sent to my email every day. Because I'm a little bit of a fangirl.
Oh, I love me some Alana Andrews, don't get me wrong.
But yeah, so that's why they have like one come out a year.
But theirs are eminently also, like rereadable.
Yeah.
And re-listenable. I really enjoy.
I think there's a quality level there that sometimes you don't get with authors that are publishing very quickly. But if you have an author on like Kindle Unlimited, they have to publish pretty quickly because they get paid based on the percentage of the book that people read. Yeah. So it's an industry. Yeah,
I mean, like, I appreciate that Kindle Unlimited has allowed these people that would never have, like, made it to the top of the pile in, you know, the sort of typical pre-digital, like, publishing world. Because I found authors that way that I would have never found. But it, you know, there's a flip side to it.
It allows for more diversity, I feel like. Yeah. But yeah, there's definitely, Amazon's gonna make money. Like,
oh yeah, Jeff Bezos, you know, he needs those flights up to space.
He's gotta fund his
super
space
important. Can't allow unions, but absolutely needs to go to space. So
anyway,
the John Oliver this week was about unions.
Oh, okay. I'll have to watch it. I haven't watched John Oliver in a while. So I'll have some to catch up on. That's exciting. I think that's it for me. Is there anything else for you?
No, not really. I mean, I've got some sewing projects I want to do in the next couple weeks. We're going to see your parents, which will be nice. Yeah. We've got so if you support us on Patreon, first of all, thank you. Laura is wearing her silly hat in gratitude. So yeah, Patreon, if you don't know, is a way where you can support your favorite creators, assuming that they're on the platform. They're writers, there are musicians, there are podcasters.
Nitty's on there. There's people doing social justice work. There's lots of things.
Lots of great, people there, and you can directly support them, which is helpful. And we sincerely appreciate when you support anyone, any creator, including us. If you want to support us on Patreon, you can just search for our name, The TheKnitGirlls with 3 L's.
It's also linked in the show notes.
And on our website, TheKnitGirllsWith3Ls.com. So we do a fail along every month where we try a new craft.
We're trying to this month because we failed at failing last month.
Yeah, because Laura and I both had times when we just weren't feeling well. So Thursday we're going to do wood tile, like some kind of wood mosaic thing, where you make a pattern with these like sort of tangram kind of pieces. And then a week, not this Sunday, but no, it is this Sunday.
It is this Sunday.
We're doing mosaic tile, like broken pieces of glass you make into like a pattern on tile. We're going to do that.
All the mosaics.
And then we also do a...
lots of failing for me.
We also do a monthly knit night. So, and that's always the last Sunday of the month.
Always not at night.
Well, sometimes it is.
Yeah.
It's usually in the afternoon.
On Sundays.
And we try to alternate times. If we can't within the month, then at least like the next month we'll try to do an early one versus a late one, because we have people who support us overseas.
Yeah.
And can't, when it's like 6 p.m. here, it's like 2 a.m. there. So
yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we will see some of you guys at our Patreon events. If not, no worries. You will always get our regular episodes for free. And yeah, I think that's it.
I like how that's an amp. It's fun.
Yeah, it is. I like the it kind of looks almost a little Christmassy, but not restricted to Christmassy. Like candy cane-ish.
Yeah, I can see that.
So
cool.
Well, you guys have an awesome week. We'll talk to you again next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.